We're back at D-Side Leisure Centre here for Drop the Puck, and it's a battle between D-Side Dragons and Telford Tigers. Ben, on paper, you've got to say this has got to be a really tough one for the Dragons.
Yeah, you know, it's as the pundits would have it, you know, it could be a little bit of a whitewash, but you know, it's going to be a tough game for the Dragons. We're aware of that. We've seen it in previous episodes. Those guys have got heart. They will dig down. You know, keep the fight going. It's whether they've got the fight, you know, to overcome the eye of the tiger today.
Certainly. The thing is, Dragons come in tonight's game off the back of a 6-1 defeat at the hand of Nottingham Lions, and they're still rooted at the bottom of the Moral League, whereas Telford sitting in third place coming into this game. They've had a week off, but they lost 3-2 to Solihull, a team that they would normally have put to bed.
Solihull are having a really good season so far. We spoke about it at the beginning of the season. You can't really script what's going to happen, you know, with the influx of the EPL teams. There's been a lot of players move around, a lot of roster changes. So, you know, every team's trying to make what they can of the season. Telford just doing really well of it.
Well, some of the players to be watching out for tonight is Jason Silverthorne, who's Telford's leading scorer at the moment. He's got 44 points, and Richard Plant's another one. He's the second highest scorer for Telford, 31 points. Scott McKenzie, of course, returning to the den.
Yeah, of course, McKenzie, former Dragons player and coach. It'll be interesting to see how he's received onto the ice tonight. I've got a feeling it could be a mixed emotions.
I think you're right there as well, because obviously Scott, we know he's a prolific scorer. He can certainly put the puck in the net, but he knows he's Dragon player as well. So it will be interesting to see what happens. On the other hand, D-Side are looking to blood some young players from the D2 team tonight. Hopefully that'll give them the boost they need. So without further ado, I think it's time to go down to the ice, and it's Drop the Puck.
Welcome to part one of Drop the Puck. As we get ready to start this game, the D-Side Dragons versus the Telford Tigers, and immediately Dragons win that face-off. Due to popular demand, we forewent the national anthems there, Gary.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual, but nevertheless, I think they're just eager to get this game underway.
Immediately, it's going to be the Dragons who go on, but the Tigers coming back with a counter. Stretch pass comes over to Jensen. Jessen, early shot there. Going to be frozen out by the netminder there. The two number 7s in for the face-off now as Parry goes against McKenzie, and it's a Dragons win. Into the corner. Parsons digs that out off McKenzie, but McKenzie gets that back, just takes it into his own zone for a second. Lays that off to Jones. Jones, chased down by Bennett and Ryan Jones. Ryan Jones gets sticking away. Loose puck out in the slot. And that's in. That's a Scott McKenzie goal on the back door, Gary.
Well, we know he's capable of doing it. Give him the puck, and he will make sure it goes in. Dragons have fallen behind early here against Telford. Dragons 0, Telford 1.
Parsons in for the face-off for the Dragons. Tigers win that though, straight on the defensive, trying to clear it out. Kept in by Craig Lukovic though for the Dragons. Round to Chris Jones. Jones to the Dragons, loses that on the boards. Tigers bring it out very quickly. Breaking forward, Jed Morland. Morland trying to find his teammate in the middle there, trying to find Tate.
Austin cut that out, is good.
And here's James Shaw for the Dragons. Back out now with Taylor. Taylor, push it up, taken off him by Richardson. Off the skates. Push back out far side. Davis coming out the bench is able to regain possession. And right now to scrapping centre ice. And the Dragons are just going to get on that loose puck. Dump it in, chased down by Parry. Silverthorne's going round. Parry lays that back off to Stokes. Stokes brings it through centre ice. Trying to find a man high slot. Finds plans. Stumped off. Shot comes in.
It's in.
Brody Jensen with a high slot shot.
Well, the puck came flying out to him. Got fed back. He took his opportunity and fired that in. Dragons didn't stand a chance, and that's Dragons 0, Telford 2.
Face-off won by Telford. 8 minutes 36 in this first period. On the boards now, trying to dig it out. With Taylor. Round the Dragons net. Back to the point man. You see Tate there trying to work the puck around. And again, Tate takes a shot. And that's in.
Well, you saw the toe-to-toe passing there, so precise between the Tigers players as they circled it round the front of that Dragons net, slotted home, and they've extended their lead here at Den. Dragons 0, Telford 3.
Face off in the Dragon zone, won by Telford. Shot comes in, looks for the deflection out front. And Rose with the initial shot. Morland trying to find men in the paint again. Rose tries to get a stick on that. Baird down, like pad save. Puck gets tied up in the skate to the official. Wainwright takes advantage, digs it out off the boards in front of his own bench. Taylor uses his defensive man. Tries to find a pass forward to Silverthorne. Plans. Looking for that puck in the middle. It's a collision. Loose puck jumped on.
That's in.
And Silverthorne jumps on that loose puck and everything going on.
Well, it's moving around so quickly and so precisely. I think the Dragons are just stunned by what's going on. And Silverthorne there just to slot that puck home. And he's extended the lead for Telford Tigers here tonight. It's Dragons 0, Tigers 4.
Face off, won by the power play unit of Telford Tigers. Shot comes in low, Baird's down, sees it out. The Dragons with these double penalties for the next 30 seconds. There's only 3 men on the ice for them.
Yeah, Mackenzie thought he saw an opening there between Baird and the post. Couldn't get it slotted in.
And Telford using the extra men just to work that puck around, really stretch out Dragons penalty kill unit. Wainwright, Parsons and Lukovic out there for the Dragons. Shot comes in, Weaver.
Again.
It's going to be Rich Plant behind the Dragons net now. 5 seconds remain on the first penalty. Shot comes in, it's in.
Oh, what a shot.
And that was Jonathan Weaver.
Well, they passed the puck around. Mackenzie feeds it across the Dragons' goal face. And Weaver just slots it top left-hand side of Graham Baird. And they've extended their lead here tonight. Dragons 0, Tigers 5.
The Tigers now with Plant. Takes a shot, just goes wide. Silverthorne tries to follow that up. Jones grabs it. And this penalty kill unit of the Tigers looks just as lethal as when they've got 5 skaters out.
It's that experience, Ben, you can tell the ex-EPL players.
Taylor near side, goes to take it in round Wainwright. Tries to toe drag it out in front of Baird. You see it off, Lukovic. It's over there.
And Lukovic getting a bit frustrated.
55 seconds remain in this Dragons power play. And it's dug out by the Dragons. Parry. Oh. Big hit on the boards there. Davis.
It looks like somebody's hurt there.
And he can't see who it is at the moment, but he went in for the check on Alex Parry. Confirmation when he stands up. And it looks like Rose.
Yeah, it's taking his seat.
Face off won by the Dragons. Jones. Able to steer that in. And final 5 seconds of this period.
Well, Telford will just weather
There's
this
the
out.
buzzer.
Well, what can you say? They came here with a game plan. They've executed it to the word, to the letter, right from the start. Telford dominating in this first period. Join us after the break. We're going to bring you more of the action right here on Drop the Puck.
Welcome back to part 2, Drop the Puck. Just to remind our viewers, there is still 30 seconds on that penalty for the Dragons. So the Dragons start the second period on the power play. Telford, 4 men out on the ice, but 5 goals up. And there should have been some stern words in the locker room there in that period break.
Yeah, I'm sure the Dragons will be licking their wounds a little bit after that very, very intense first period. But they've got another period, or 2 should we say, to get back into this.
3, 2, 1, and the penalty expires on the Tigers. We get back to full strength hockey as Jessen leaves the penalty bench. Shot in early and it's in.
Well, as soon as...
That's Adam Jones, sorry, with the goal.
No sooner than they got back to 5 men on the ice, the Tigers punished the Dragons again and have extended their lead. It's Dragons 0, Tigers 6.
Face off to the right of Graham Bird, won by the Telford Tigers. Puck ringed round. Picked up by Morland. Trying to dig it out of the Dragons. But it looks like Telford have got possession. No, it's dug out there. Onto the stick of Morgan at the point. Put back in, deflection again.
Ooh.
Comes from Tate. Back into the crease.
And it's in.
It is.
It's between the legs of Bird. And it was a simple little tap in there.
Jed Morland with the goal there. Assist coming from Warren Tate.
And the Tigers extend their lead even further in the second period. It's now Dragons 0, Tigers 7.
And now Sandall off the board for Plant to receive it. Dumps that back. Puck through centre ice. Keating gets enough of it. Davis chases it into the corner. Puck comes round, but Telford are there first. Sandall unable to keep it in at the point, and Taylor's breaking down. Support comes in, shot first time.
Oh, and it's gone in!
And it's off the glove of Baird, trickles over and in.
Well,
And
2-on-1 chance there.
And Dan Mitchell burying it.
And Telford pouncing down on that Dragons net. He fires a shot in, and Baird failed to keep hold of it. It trickles into the net, and it's Dragons 0, Telford 8.
Dragons clear up that face-off and dump it down for Dennis Bell. But here come Telford again as they pick pace up. Stretch pass from Stokes. And again, Stokes receives at the point. Goes to his teammate. Back, Stokes thinks about it. Couldn't bring it under control quick enough. Silverthorne. Bell signalling that one of the penalties is due to expire, as it does. Dragons get back to 5-on-4. Still have to weather another minute and 5. Shot comes in. And there's the bottle popper.
Well, they were circling that puck around. Jessen was sitting right on the crease again in front of the tendy, waiting for that opportunity, but it comes across. And it's Silverthorne slots that straight into the back of the net. And it's now Dragons 0, Telford 9.
Face off. Dug out and won by Telford. Weaver finds Rich Plant this side. Plant. Wide open space, goes back across the slot. Bell clears it out and Dragons stick clears it down ice.
It was good defensive play by the Dragons then.
40 seconds now remain on that power play for Telford. Sandall tries to clear it away. Stokes keeps it onside. Again, Using those point men to stretch it. It's gone in. And it looks to be Weaver with the initial shot there. Unsure whether they got a deflection. You'll see in the replay there. But Gary, it's another goal for Weaver tonight.
Yeah, slotted that in. And the Dragons just seem to be at 6s and 7s in defence at the moment. Something needs to happen soon because it's now Dragons 0, Telford 10.
Face off, won by the Dragons with Lukovic at the point. Finds Wainwright off the boards of his own bench. Into the corner, picked up by Bennett. Bennett dumps back to Wainwright. Wainwright skates it in, shoots, parry. Yes, parry with the deflection goal. It come back out off the leg pads of Bell. And he makes sure he finishes.
Yeah, he's just there, sitting, waiting for that puck. Slots it home, gives the Dragon a goal. Makes his fans in the den tonight cheer for once. And it's now Dragons 1, Telford 10.
Face off, won by Parsons, but knocked straight onto a Tiger's stick. And very quickly is Oliver. Oliver ties up with Jones. There's going to be a call. The official's arms up. And there it is. It's assessed again to the Dragons. Chris Jones going to box this time. Well, and Gary, my pen's running out of ink on this penalty sheet.
Yeah, the frustration setting in with the Dragons. They're trying to close down these Tigers.
And it's a high stick call on Chris Jones. So Dragons yet again find themselves in a 5-on-3 situation. Face off, won by Telford. Oliver. Working that puck around, Mackenzie in the corner. Oliver. Shot comes in. It's off the chest of Baird. Out against Oliver. Trying to find Mackenzie. Trying to. He's done it, Mackenzie. They were basically skating that puck in. And Mackenzie goes top shelf. Beats Graham Baird.
Yeah, Graham Baird crouched down just in that corner to stop the puck from coming in. But Mackenzie slots it off him into the top and gets the point for the Telford Tigers. Extends the lead here. Dragons 1, Telford 11.
Face-off is again won by Telford. Seems to be winning everything tonight. They're working that puck around once more. Mitchell plays the puck through. It's gone out, so they're going to have to come out the zone and go back in. Do so with Plant. Plant skating around, dumps it in the corner for Mitchell. Puck out again, deflected up into the air, down onto the stick of Shaw. Jones back on the ice, able to get hold of that. Skates it in, takes a shot early. And now the Dragons deep in the Telford zone, sorry. Oh, there's a call right out in front as Jones is brought down. Right out in front of the Telford goal, sorry. There goes Baird, he leaves the ice. Extra man on for the Dragons. Lukovic with the puck. And certainly going to be some retaliation now, Gary. It's been bubbling. The stick's on there. We'll see what the official call is. And it's to be served on Dennis Bell. So someone from the Telford bench will skate over and sit the penalty. Well, it's going to be Jessen sent to the box to save the penalty.
I don't think our camera caught it, but
we can also tell you that in between a penalty being served and Graham Baird being pulled off the ice for the penalty, that there's been a change of netminder now for the Dragons. So Lewis Edwards finds himself in between the pipes now as Taylor immediately bears down on him. And it's in. It's not the way he'll have wanted to open his ice time tonight. And with 5 seconds gone in that penalty, short-handed goal scored by Telford.
Yeah, they pounced on that straight away. Nice long shot, and it caught Edwards off guard. And it's now Dragons 1, Telford 12.
Puck won by the Dragons. Gingerly brought out of their own zone there, carefully. Finds Bennett near side. Davis skates onto the loose puck. Taken off him by Silverthorne now. Right round in front of his own bench. Jones puts that back in. Bennett chases it into the corner, tries to dig it out, but it's going to be the Tigers that do so. Tigers knocked that forward. White for Silverthorne support. Takes a shot himself though. Dale White with a goal. And Gary, it's getting to look a little bit like a cricket score out there.
Yeah, they've got a point to prove, Telford. Ex-EPL players or not, they're giving a show here tonight to the fans, and it's now Dragons 1, Telford 13.
Welcome back to part 3 of Drop the Puck as we get the action back underway. It's the Telford Tigers with a face-off win. And immediately Dragons push that into the Telford corner. Telford on the attack again. Jessen puts that puck over. Cut out by a Dragon stick. And Weaver is just going to skate that back. Draw the Dragons out. Edwards sees that and freezes that up. And we've got a penalty served to Matt Wainwright for putting the puck out of play. So with delay of game, that's 2 minutes on the clock for Matt Wainwright, and the Dragons open this third period on the penalty kill. Tigers with the puck in their own zone. Stretch pass goes forward. Taylor kicks it on, but it's cleared out by Austin with ferocity. Picked up by Rose. Pushes it forward, tries to find the man over. Harry's cut the puck out and put it straight back in. 1:30 remain on the power play. Now Tigers just taking the time to work this puck around with Mitchell. Dragons trying to repossess them. White, and done so there by Austin. He's put it out, Morgan can't keep it in, it's come out the zone. And a push back out with Jones. Jones takes it in. Feeds it back off to Mitchell, he takes the shot. Deflection from Sandall up and over, and out of play. Silverthorne with the draw win for the Tigers.
Oh, and it's gone in.
It's a first time shot from Weaver.
What a shot that was. Straight from the face off.
In.
Straight from the face off. Comes out to Weaver and straight away powers that straight past Edwards. Edwards disgusted a little bit with himself there. But it's now Dragons 1, Telford 14.
Well, Jonathan Weaver gets himself on the score sheet once more as Telford ever pull away with our 14th goal. And here we go again. So he look to bring that puck straight back in. 8 minutes 10 in this third period gone. Austin chasing that down with Bennett. Off the board for Silverthorne. Tie up with Davis. It's Bennett who's got it. Spins that round. Does enough to clear it out. Puts it forward. Bell under pressure from the Dragons. It's going to be Richardson. Puts that back in. Parry tries to find Keaton skating in. The Tigers quickly turn that straight back round and break with Weaver. Weaver Into the corner with Sandal. Sandal loses his edge. Now, around the back of the Dragons' net, it breaks forward, back to Silverthorne on the blue. Puts that in. Tries to post it out in front, Edwards denies. Chased down by Richardson. And the Tigers again knocking on the door. Puck's laid off by Plant. Weaver takes a shot. Richardson tries to clear it around the boards. Gets hold of it a second time. Only clears it as far as out in front of his own bench. Sandal gets a stick down to try and shut the lane off. It's bobbling round out there. And there it is.
My goodness. There's enough people trying to hit that there, but it certainly looks like...
It has gone in. It's a Richie Plant goal.
Yeah, Plant's just tapping that in. And they've extended their lead tonight. It's now Dragons 1, Telford 15.
Face off, won by Telford with Stokes. Puts that back round for Morland. Morland goes to go backhand. Edwards down quick enough, seals it out. Tate regains the loose puck though, puts it back in again. Morland, high slot shot comes in though. And it appears this time to be Mitchell. Mitchell picked up the initial deflection there.
Yeah, the puck's floating around in front of that net like we've been saying all night. You can't do that with these Tigers players. They're quick, they pounce on it. And that Mitchell just slots our home to extend their lead to 16-1 over the Dragons tonight.
Face off, won by Shaw for the Dragons. Chase straight in, but Tigers dispossess. Break out with Taylor. It's a 2-on-1 situation. He's got Morland in support. Finds Morland. Morland shoots.
Oh!
Great save by Edwards. And with a little under a quarter of this game remaining in the third period.
And although the scoreline doesn't reflect it, Edwards has had a good time between the posts while he's been on.
Finds Shaw. Shaw manages to stay on his feet, keeps that up. It's cut out by the skate of a Telford player though. They're breaking 3-on-2. Morland looks up, takes a shot. Deflected wide. And Telford once again flood the Dragons zone. Great cut out there for the Dragons by captain James Parsons. Chris Jones goes to take the shot. It's turned out by Bell. Jones doing his best to regain possession of that. Finds a man out front, shot goes in. That was Davis.
Oh.
Morgan and Davis tying up just in the slot. Back again with Davis. Puts that back on net. Mitchell knocks that up for his teammate. Burst of speed, 3-on-2 in favour of the Dragons this time. Stokes can't gain possession. Fallen back to Jessen. Puts that back. Tate with the shot.
Oh, and it's in. Straight through.
Warren Tate with the one-timer.
Yeah, and they've extended their lead already. It's now Dragons 1, Telford 17.
We're into the final 3 minutes now. And it's quite clear, Gary, that Telford letting the second and third lines have a lot of ice time now.
Yeah, it makes sense to do that. Give everybody some... Oh! And
right out in front, denied.
Yeah, give everybody a bit of ice time. It's especially when you've got a strong squad like this and you've got such a big lead, you can do that.
Shaw gets round his man. Puts the puck out in space, but too much of it, unfortunately, and it's come all the way back for Wainwright.
A quick line change by Telford.
Wainwright, very forward check, heavy pressure there coming from the Tigers. Oh, and Wainwright, not happy, and he's gone. Wainwright's gone with Oliver. Well, Wainwright dropped his stick there, was tied up with what looked like one of the players on the floor. We'll get confirmation who it was. Straight in was Oliver. It looked like Brody Jessen on the floor.
Yeah, Jessen again was, he pounced down on Wainwright when he had that puck just behind the net there.
And Nicholas Oliver also finds himself going to the box. Frustrations getting the better of the Dragons now. So, Wainwright and Jessen both being allowed to continue. But in the box is Nicholas Oliver. The Dragons find themselves on the 2-minute power play in the final 2 minutes of this game. And it's a roughing penalty saved to Nicholas Oliver of the Telford Tigers that see the Dragons in the final 2 minutes of these game on the power play.
Well, let's see if they can capitalise on that.
Davis out in front. Oh. Can't get control of it.
Oh, Tigers do enough just to frustrate him.
And they've jumped on the loose puck. Here's Taylor, breaks down. Taylor goes to go himself.
Oh,
puts it back across. And it looks like a Jessen goal. It is Brodie Jessen. Adam Taylor drew two of the Dragons defenders over.
Yeah, they pounced on that loose puck and they've done a short-handed goal here against the Dragons. It's now Dragons 1, Telford 18.
Puck back with Wainwright. Takes the shot. Blocked out there. And now the Dragons force back again. Looked like Morland put his body on the line for that one. Harry tries to dig it out to Davis. Shot comes in, turned out by Edwards. Into the final 15 seconds of this game now. Just little under that on the clock and the penalty. And Gary, I think it's pretty much written in the results book. There's the buzzer goes. It's been an emphatic performance by the Dragons, but not quite good enough.
Now, number 3 ranked Telford Tigers showing their dominance here tonight. And they've gone away with a win. It's Dragons 1, Telford 18. They'll be happy with that. We'll go down between the locker rooms, get the news and views of the coaches and players. Join us after this break.
And with coach of the Telford Tigers, Tom Watkins. Tom, really good result for yourselves there.
Yeah, but we expected to come up here and get the points tonight, and effectively I think the game was over after a few minutes. And you know, I don't want to be disrespectful at all, but we scored some nice goals. It's what I got. So.
Well, obviously in your mind you were already coming up for the win, but did you expect the result you got?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I've no disrespect that, you know, it's been a tough season I think for D-side, hasn't it? So we've got a lot of talent in our locker room, so I'd be pretty disappointed if we didn't come in and put a show on. Now,
really well disciplined, well drilled Tigers. We saw it there, a lot of tape-to-tape passing, a lot of fruitful time out there for the penalty kill unit and the power play unit as well. A couple of short-handed goals, you've got to be happy with that?
Yeah, of course. We were just able tonight to use guys in different spots, and we got away from our traditional power play groups, and we're just able to roll our lines and put some of the young guys out there in positions that they're probably not used to.
Now, there are rumours currently circulating around that next season there could be a three-way split with the Morley Layla and possibly, you know, the re-incursion of another Premier League. What's your views on that at the moment?
You know far more than I do, and I'm being truthfully honest here. I have not heard any rumours about next season. I've heard nothing from the league, which is, for a club, I think at the moment, it's really frustrating. I think the league needs to get its act together. I think we should have a plan in place for next season. How as a club can we plan for next season, the next 2 or 3 seasons, if we don't know what the format's going to be now for next season? It's getting on, and I don't want to be in the same position we were last year.
But if the opportunity arose, would Telford look to step up to that higher tier of hockey again?
It all depends on the circumstances and what the league looks like. You know, we want to play the best hockey we can play, but we also want to be able to afford it. We're building in a good little place where we are at the moment. Things are going okay, but it all depends on how that new league or potential new league looks.
Well, Coach, a very convincing win for yourselves here tonight. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
And with captain of the Dragons, James Parsons. James, tilted ice tonight, you know, very, very difficult score to take home there. What lessons can you pick from that?
Well, that's another heavy defeat. I don't really know the answer to that at the moment. We didn't stop skating all night, which is a positive. You know, that's one thing that we can take away from it. We didn't stop and give up. So, yeah, I don't know really.
Fair enough. So yeah, at the heart of the Dragons there, you know, fighting right to the end, which is something you want to see from your team. A couple of times tonight, though, silly little penalties again left you that man short. A lot of time for the special teams on the ice again tonight. Is this something that's going to be worked on?
Well, we've been trying to work on it all season. It doesn't seem to settle down, so carry on trying to work on it, but we'll see what happens, you know.
Now again, we saw the likes of James Shaw out there icing tonight as well. You got Josh Richardson, a couple of the other young lads as well. How important is it to be developing these young players, especially at this experience of hockey?
I suppose if they're playing at, you know, at this level, it's great for them. You know, they're learning off, they're playing against some really good players, so they're only going to gain decent experience from it. So, yeah.
And we just spoke to Coach Tom Watkins of Telford Tigers about this so-called rumour floating around that a 3-split league next season. What's your personal views on that?
I don't really know, to be honest. Not really heard anything of it, so yeah.
Fair enough. Well, James, we hope, you know, best for the future again for the Dragons. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, thank you.
Jason Silverthorne, captain of the Telford Tigers. Jason, a really interesting game there for you. Bit of a one-sided result. What were you expecting tonight?
I mean, they always come out and work hard. I mean, D-side are a quality group, and they're a bunch of good guys and stuff, so we knew they were going to be hard working and stuff, and we just tried to come out, keep it simple, and stick to the basics, and hopefully come out with a W.
Now, taking the points away, it's been a tough season so far for Telford, but you're hanging up there, top 3 so far. How are you finding them morally?
Yeah, it's been a challenge every night, but we try and do everything that we can to win each game. And I mean, obviously it's a battle, so we got to make sure that we're consistent and play the right way.
So yourself on the score sheet there tonight, a couple of others, obviously Jonathan Weaver managed to get on there as well. Some of the young lads getting some ice time, getting some goals to the name. So what's it like with the rotations and the lines at the moment?
Well, I think that it's, I mean, beneficial for British hockey right now. We've got a lot of kids playing, a lot of under 18s, able to play with a lot of us older guys. So I think that bringing those kids through is one of the most important things, and especially in games like tonight where they can get on and play regularly and get their groove in and get on the score sheet for them, gives them confidence and gives them, you know, extra practice and extra, game time that they need to improve their skills.
Now we look to the rest of the season there for the Tigers. It's going to be a tough one, tough battle. You're still up there, Solway, still giving it a fight. What are you hoping to get out of this?
Well, every season you go into, you want to win the league. I mean, I don't think that anybody that shows up for game 1 says they don't. So, I mean, that's our ultimate goal. We're going to try and win the league, and it's going to be a battle. We get to, like you said, we're sitting 3rd right now, and we got a couple of teams ahead of us and a couple of teams behind us. So we got to make sure that we're doing our jobs every night and getting our points.
Well, Jason, wish you luck for the rest of the season. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you very much.
Owen Bennett, the D-side Dragons. Owen, a lot of ice time for yourself this season. How are you finding it so far?
Yeah, it's good now. Getting my feet moving, getting into it, it's good.
And you did really well there tonight, skating around right outside that paint. Almost had an opportunity for yourself. How did you find it?
It's getting closer and closer every game. Would have been good to get one against Telford as well, but onwards and onwards to next weekend now.
And a lot of the fans and supporters of British hockey, and obviously are aware of yourself for your fighting styles. Not seen so much of that though from you this season. You've been a little more restrained. Is that something you've worked on personally?
I think the league changing is a bit different this league. There's not as many big characters and fighters in it as there was in the EPL days and stuff like that. So just concentrating more on my hockey now and get my legs going.
Cool. Well, Owen, wish you luck for the rest of the season. We'll catch you soon, mate.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
Well, there you go, Ben. 18-1. The form guide was right. Unfortunately, Dragons sadly come out on the wrong end of this one.
Yeah, really tough game for those guys. Off the bat, I wasn't expecting the speed, the pace, the clinical skill of Telford, the way they literally out the gates, very much take passing. A lot of skillful players in those lines there that could make any lower team stand out, but combined as a unit, very deadly.
Well, you hit it there on the head. They did come out very quickly. Telford scored very early on, set the pace, but it was I think we passed comment during the game. It seemed to be like there was just 2 speeds, and that was fast or faster for Telford, because they were spread out all over the ice. They drew the Dragons apart and left those wide lanes and were able to do that clinical passing at ease.
Yeah, so obviously we saw them, the Dragons playing what we call a lot of dump and chase hockey, you know, putting the puck down the opposition end into the corners, chasing down with one man and then trying to flood the zone afterwards. Telford, on the other hand, you know, were picking up any loose puck that was given to them, and rather than going straight away forward, they were drawing back into their own zone, drawing those Dragon players out, and then exploiting all those pass lanes, working the puck through together, you know, tape to tape, quick passing, and the next minute, you know, Edwards, Baird, you know, they both had reasonably good games tonight, but they saw a lot more rubber than they should have.
Well, of course, we're going back to that first goal for Telford. Of course, it couldn't have come at a worse time, and it couldn't have been scored by a worse person for the Dragons. Scott McKenzie straight onto that score sheet, getting a point across maybe.
Yeah, I think he really was. I think he was trying to silence a lot of people. You know, you could say, you know, the fans were trying to maybe prod the cage tiger, and that's the answer they got. But then that literally, he just opened the floodgates and let the team do the rest of the talking. Guys like Brody Jensen tonight, you know, Watkins as well, Silverthorne Plant, we mentioned them in the intro. Guys you have to keep an eye on, and unfortunately the Dragons didn't tonight. And you know, they abused that. They really went to town, and some real big shots from outside the slot. A couple of times the netminder's vision's impaired. They exploited that. But one key point the Dragons need to take away from this was the amount of times the puck was bobbling around in that paint, and very quickly, instead of clearing it out, it ended up in the back of the net.
Well, of course, they edged away 5-0 in that first period, and then it looked like the Dragons were trying to fight their way back in that second period, but again, Telford showed a dominance and took a 6-0 period for them there. It was pretty much uphill for them all the time, finishing 18-1 as it finished. The Dragons are certainly licking their wounds from this.
Yeah, you can see, unfortunately, you know, in the interview there, Captain James Parsons looking a bit depleted. I don't know what more he can ask from the guys. You know, they're turning up to training. They're still here playing. You know, the Dragons, unfortunately, you know, in their little regime, have seen a lot of people step to the wayside or move to other clubs to be more fruitful. So the guys that are here are literally skating for pride, skating for passion, because they want to be here wearing that, you know, that logo on the chest. Whereas Telford, they were a very regimental team coming into this, obviously ex-EPL, bolstered by a lot of really good players. They had, you know, the monetary side supporting them. It was always going to be the battle of David and Goliath, and unfortunately on this time, Goliath won.
Yeah, certainly that is the case. Now tonight's win sees Telford maintain their pace, trying to keep up with that pack at the top of the Morley, where you see Solway and the rest of the pack. It's very, very tight there. As we've already said, teams pinching wins off each other. Unfortunately, D-side rooted at the bottom of the Morley. It doesn't look very good for them at all. It's very difficult for them to fight back. But we'll have to wait and see. You can catch more games like this each week here on Drop the Puck.